Hey guys, welcome back to RMA Garage. We are working on final assembly on my son's YZ250FX 2015, wheels on, tank on, seat on, everything. I am ready to be finished with this project. I hope you guys have enjoyed all the videos, but I am ready to wrap this up. Okay, let's start with the gas tank. We have gas in here, we do. So we're gonna check, make sure the spark plug was intact. All right, so now we got to plug in the electric. By the way, it is Memorial Day weekend. Nothing else to do, no picnics. So I thought I'd make some videos. All right, so we got the electric on. I would hope that this would not take too long. I'm just hoping that no gas spills out too much. That's probably another reason why I've got the garage door open, is because there's gonna be a little bit of gas smell from doing the gas tank here. There we go. Boom, a little bit of gas leakage, but not too much. I was debating on whether or not to do this as time-lapse, which I may end up doing time-lapse, maybe just speeding up the video, but maybe monologue as I put this thing together while there's nothing else to do today. All right, so we got the gas tank connected, minimal gasoline spill. The smell will linger probably for about an hour, but no worries. That's why I got the garage door open, because I wanted to get the gas tank on first. I guess I could have rolled it outside, but now it smells like a motorcycle garage, because it always smells, anytime you go into a dealership, it always smells like exhaust and gasoline. Okay, so now we have to get the little clip. So if you remember, there's a clip that goes over top of the gas tank line so it does not come off. And we're going to put that on now. And I would encourage you guys to go back and look at my older videos on this, because I showed how this thing came off and comes back on. There we go. You know what? I do remember now that this one was toast. I think this one was broken. Yep, we were going to need a new clip. So we have a brand new clip that goes on the gas tank to keep it from accidentally opening up, because we had it off and on a couple of times over the, I wouldn't say years, but a couple of times here and there. And the spring, I didn't do it really nice the last time before this time, and it had stretched out and it wasn't going to clip. The ice cream man is coming. Here he goes. I wonder if you guys hear that. Snapped in, ready to go. Gas tank installed. All right, so now we gotta have the bolt that goes to the gas tank. There it is. I think. No? Which one is it? I know it's a long one. Note to self, don't wait so long next time to put the bike back together. 4 hours later. I think the bolt must have gotten snagged by someone else. We'll just snug that up just a little bit. So the next thing is gonna be the rear fender, which takes some time. I can't even imagine what it would be like for that guy in that truck to listen to that music for 8 hours. If he indeed has an 8-hour shift. I mean, if it's an 8-hour shift, oh my goodness. I would have to have some music or something, better music. I mean, why couldn't they just play regular music? Why has it gotta be like some crazy carnival nastiness? So right now what I'm doing is putting on some of these electrics that are attached to the fender before I install the fender, because once the fender is up and installed, this would not be possible. Of course, we're listening to the music too, which seems kind of weird. He never comes down our street because there's never any kids. We have a couple of kids on our street, but they don't really do much. They're never outside. I guess that's why they got to crank the music. You got to get it above all the, I don't know if you could say video games anymore. I don't know if do kids still play video games? I don't know. Usually they're on their phones. They're playing phone games. I guess maybe they're still playing video games. They got to be careful with this, because the torque on this cordless drill can twist sheet metal. And I have firsthand knowledge of that, because when I went to go and tighten this up the last time on my bike, I twisted this sheet metal up so bad I had to take it all apart and redo the whole thing because it was so bad. So you can't just indiscriminately hit the on button and let it torque out. If not, you'll have a twisted piece of metal on your hands. All right, that's tight. Now we gotta get all these wires tucked in here. There we go. All these wires get all messed up. You gotta allow the wires to kind of naturally go where they wanted to go in the first place. I think we got it. That's the fastest I've ever done that. So is anybody gonna watch this video? Me monologuing over installing this, listening to ice cream truck music? Why does anybody watch a video? Because they feel entertained by it, they want to learn something by it? I don't know, I guess I want to learn something. That's me. I want to learn something. There we go. Finally, there we go. So what are all these YouTubers when they're not making videos? They're always making videos? Because it seems like I always seem to be making videos. Or at least thinking about making videos. It's all consuming. So that went on pretty quick. I didn't make any mistakes. That was the good thing. Now we got the rear mud flap here. 2 Phillips head screws into plastic, which kind of surprises me all the time, is with everything else, basically this mud flap is just screwed into another piece of plastic. And nevertheless, it stays. It's lasted the test of time. Want to put the rear wheel on? Guess we can put the rear wheel on. Seems kind of weird to do that since the wheels have been off this thing for a long time. Okay, that's ready to go. More grease on the hands. All right, now we got to get the brake. Slide forward a little bit more. So we get the chain on. There we go. Now we can do the rear axle. Not bad. First try went good. This is the kind of part that I miss when I do videos, is that I just like sitting in my garage listening to music. All right, so what we're doing there, we're shoving the rag in and we are tightening the chain up. Actually, we're forcing the rear wheel forward into its stops. There's 2 stops here, another stop right there, and we're basically just jamming it forward, making sure that it's even on both sides. All right, so this torque spec is actually pretty high, 98. So we don't want to spare on that. So there's 95, there's 98. We got everything jammed up. 98 pounds. There we go. Look at that. We got a wheel. Okay, what's next? Got to work on the front now. Got our fork guards. Always want to put the fork guards on first, because if you put them on second after the wheel is on, you're not going to be able to get them on. I know this for a fact. I've done it. Because there's 2 Allen, there's two heads, 2 bolts with the socket heads on it that face inside. You can only get a corner turn on them when you're putting them in. I don't use any power tools with this because I want to be able to feel how strong these are going in. I do not in any way, shape, or form want to strip these out because this is a fork tube. The fork tube is expensive. It's something that you don't want to accidentally over tighten. Okay. That's good. So I always kind of go back and forth with this. Do I put this on first and then this? Probably just screw it to the fork first. Keep it steady. Funny story, my oldest son was born on Memorial Day weekend. When I rode street bikes, I had a plan because my wife was very pregnant and my oldest was born 2 weeks early, which I don't know. Was he on time? Was he early? Who knows? I think that their best guess is pretty marginal. So I decided it was time. I hadn't cleaned up my street bike, so I decided to take my street bike apart like I do this and kind of go over maintenance and do everything. And the idea was on Friday and Saturday I was going to take it apart, and then Sunday, Monday, basically work on it. Well, that didn't work because Friday I actually got a little bit of a head start. So I actually took it apart Thursday night thinking like, hey, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna have all weekend to work on this. My wife's not gonna wanna do anything. I'm gonna have plenty of time. Well, I was at work and my wife called me and says, I think it's time. Like, really? And I didn't say time for what. I just said, really? And she was like, yes, really. Get home now. I was like, oh man. I didn't think of my bike at the time, but afterwards I thought, oh man, I got a garage full of pieces and parts and it's all apart. And we had the baby Friday night. Well, she had the baby. And I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do now? So it sat in the garage for probably a week. I had to move it out of the way so I can get her car in the garage. That was the last time I've really worked putting together something on Memorial Day. And by the way, this is always easier with the front tire off. Always, 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 always. If you can do this with the front tire off, so much easier. Doable the other way, but so much easier. I can still hear the ice cream truck. Okay. All right, sometimes this can be tricky, especially when somebody grabbed the front brake and now it's open. I mean, now it's closed. So I gotta spread the calipers out. Bummer, dude. And that is going in ever so slightly. All right, I think that's enough. Okay. I feel like this is gonna go in real quick. Look at that. It usually never goes in that quick. Fantastic. Okay, rubber mallet time. Because how many times I've ever done this, I still need to pound this in. Okay. First we want to torque this down to 83 foot-pounds. Now what's kind of weird is I had a guy, I had my shocks worked on this summer, and the guy told me that everybody does this backwards. So he told me that you want to torque this side down first. Oops, I forgot to tighten this other side. So you tighten that other side up, and then you torque this down to the correct specs. Okay, you torque that down, and then these I believe are, I want to say they're 15. These little bolts are 15 pounds right here. There's 15. Let's see how close we were. Were we over? No, we weren't over. We torqued this side, but like, what do you do with the other side? Because the other side is still loose. But what he said to do was that once the bike's off stand, you push it down a couple of times, and what this fork leg does is the fork leg sometimes can be pressed in. So this fork leg here straightens out, so then the forks don't bind when they go down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this loose, and then once we get it off of the jack here, we'll even it out. Pump the brakes back up. There we go. Those work. Okay, moving right along. Airbox is ready to go. So far I've remembered where all the bolts go. I know which ones need to be in. Some of them I haven't been able to locate. A couple of them disappeared on me. Now if you notice, I don't use the quick releases. I don't know why. Saw a kit in a store one day that eliminated it and thought, well, wouldn't that be cool? And that's what I did. I just bought the eliminator kit. So is it any better? I read an article one time where a guy said that they were digging into his thigh or into the side of his leg. I thought, well, I'm gonna have that problem too, and it justified a purchase. How about the battery? Haven't had the battery plugged in forever. All right, so I got the battery here, and I got my pigtail, which we always have these on battery tender, just because we like to keep the batteries nice and good to go. Gonna need the strap on the battery. Let's see if I can get this on. Most of the time I can get this on. Sometimes I can't get the battery strap to stay when I want to put it back on. Did it stay? Oh, see what I mean? So I just cheat, just go underneath here, shove it in, and it'll catch. There, it caught. There we go. Battery's nice and tight. All right, so now we want some dielectric grease. I reorganized my garage, and now I'm still trying to find things. There we go. There we go. So pigtail on that side. No sparks. I had sparks one year. I touched the negative terminal and I got a bunch of sparks, and that was very alarming. I switched the plug. I put one on one side, one on the other. That was not good. All right, so that is on. Should we just bump it? Oh yeah, we got power. You don't want to start it yet, but the starter started. I like it. Always a good sign. Super fantastic. Good thing we remembered that sock. Whew, that would have been catastrophic. Trying to remember, I think we got to feed it from this side. This gets fed from the other side. Perfectamundo. There we go. Okay, so now we got our torque specs here. We got to find the exhaust. Okay, so there's the exhaust. This one, I believe, is 8 foot-pounds. Whoop. There we go, 8.7. There we go, 14, that's what it was. Okay, so now we can put this on. Might as well work on this side while we're still facing it. This basically only gets one bolt, and then the seat bolts hold it on. Okay. We're an hour and 7 minutes in. Whew. Holy smoke. I was hoping to be done by now, man. All right, this is where it gets fun. Trying to get all the bolts to line up. I guess if I had a gripe, this probably would be my biggest gripe. Okay, so this one, aluminum spacer on the outside, spacer on the inside. Now this is very important. So no, all kidding aside, you do not want to start any of these bolts with anything mechanical. Do it by hand, because if you don't, and it's just off a little bit, it will strip out. And that, we're talking frame threads here, retapping them, that would be a nightmare. So I do not in any way, shape, or form recommend anyone using an impact to get any of these bolts. No siree. There it is. Nope. We're gonna take that off. All right, so now the tank has a chance to move around and to do everything that it needs to get this bolt in. Oh, that went in a little bit easier. There we go. So now why is that different than the other? Who knows? Kind of thinking of putting the other side on like that. Oh yeah, it went right in. Okay, so there's the trick. Am I gonna remember that next time? No airbox cover till we get those two bolts in. I don't know, I might remember, I might not. See, now those need to line up in order for that to work. Because I like to have a good line right here. Sometimes mine has never lined up. I put the airbox on last. It doesn't work out real well. Okay, now we're cooking. We're gonna go real easy, because I think I already got it started. Look at that, went right in. Perfect. They're all going in. We got one side on, and that was good, I think. I'm not sure. I think it was good. I think it was really good, but I'm not sure yet. I'd like to think it was good. I'd love to think it was good. Could that have been done any more choreographed than that? I mean, come on, that was beautiful. Oh, you gotta put the rest of the exhaust on. Okay, and I gotta get the clamp. All right. We gotta position this so the clamp, it will slide through. And we can slide this on. Okay, super fantastic. All right, so this is gonna be very easy. All right, that's all we're gonna do right there. It needed to be lifted up just a smidge. All right, so that's basically just bottomed out, that's bottomed out. And that's just the way it is. All right, torque specs. Okay, the bolt up above here is 22. This hose clamp is 8.7. Oh, it was close. So is this really the reality of putting plastics on a bike? Does it really take this long, or am I just really bad at this? Because I have always done it this way, and it's always been kind of crazy. Takes a while. All right, so that went in okay. All right, that's going in. And there's our other spacer. I just had it on the wrong one. All right, these side panels went on quicker. I've had to deal with in the past. We got that one on quick. We got the one more panel here. What do we got next? We got the seat. Look at that, folks. The board is now empty. I do have one more screw left over. Could have been extra, who knows? Not sure. Do I really want to know? I don't know. Always start the seat bolts by hand. This one, I've had these ones strip out. Had to retap them once. That was not good either. All right, moment of truth. Pulling the choke, waking it up. I can hear things wanting to go. It's in neutral, right? Of course it's in neutral. All right, here we go. Okay, remember I had the gas tank off, so there's some dead space in those lines. So now we're looking to see if anything's on fire or burning or melting. Success! I don't see any leaks. I'm looking at my cylinder head. I'm looking up there to see if there's any oil spewing, dripping. I think it's good. We've did it. This has been exciting. All right, so the $64,000 question. Oh, I know it's just bolt. Oh, it's the number plate bolt right here. There we go. Right there. There's the bolt. Fits right on top. I don't have any bolts left over and everything's accounted for. Super fantastic. Sweet. All right. All right, so we got hand guards and the skid plate. And I think that's it. That is everything. All right, guys, end of the series, but this has been fun. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we're all finished with it. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, want me to do something different, let me know. I do still need to change the oil. I do need to change out the radiator fluid because it's been 2 years, which I believe they recommend after 2 years, new engine coolant. And maybe a couple of other little things here, but relatively speaking, we got it all ready to go and it is 100%. So thanks guys for supporting the channel, watching the videos, giving me the thumbs up. If you want to see more cool stuff, click on the bell because there's going to be more videos. I've got something planning in the making. I want to learn how to ride a wheelie and I'm really serious about it this year. So watch out for the mini series coming up of my progression in learning how to ride a wheelie on a dirt bike. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.